Back here inside the George Gervin game, above center, Eastern Michigan 61-57 winners over Buffalo. Weathering the storm has been the theme the last couple of days. The third time this game tried to be played. We finally got it in. Head coach Fred Castro with us. I mentioned weathering the storm. Your team had to do that down the stretch, a big time job by Buffalo to come back, but you guys were able to hang on in this almost what it felt like a tournament setting. And I know your team has to be thrilled. You've got to be thrilled with your team's effort to close it out down the stretch.
Yeah, they made some big time shots, and give them credit. Buffalo's a team that's not going to go away, but I thought our defense for overall the night was spectacular. I mean, we won the paint battle 46-6, and Buffalo's a team that usually kills people in the paint. So really proud of our kids' effort and the plays that we made that we had to have to win the game.
You mentioned the defensive effort. Last time against Buffalo, they scored 78 points against you. A lot of them were in the paint. They were working it inside and out. It looks like your team took that personally and really shut down any chance they had to get inside today.
Yeah, I thought our bigs did a great job. I thought Liv spent a lot of energy out there. It was nice to have Zanaya Nelson back. You can clearly see the impact she has for us. And I thought Tyra and Ozzy just did a great job of controlling the paint, which gave us a lot of confidence and bought us some time and let us get a good win at home.
From a coaching perspective, explain for the people at home, what does having the bigs that you have in this year's lineup allow you to do and get such an advantage, moving Sonera outside of the paint a little bit and just really taking a dominant approach inside?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice when you can score in the paint. It's nice when you can force teams to shoot and score outside the paint. Obviously, we didn't want them to make all those threes in the fourth quarter, but at halftime we talked about managing the run when the run happens. It's how basketball is played. It's just the ebbs and flows of conference basketball, and we got the stops that we needed. And I thought, we got 4 people in double figures. Sonera, Ozzy, and Tyra all did a really good job in the paint. So that's stuff that we're going to need for them to continue to do moving forward.
Your first win against Buffalo here at Eastern Michigan, and the gift you get for that is getting Kent State on Saturday. Good luck on Saturday, coaches. We continue looking for seeding here in the MAC tournament just a few weeks away.
Thank you.
There you go, Tom, back to you.
Yeah, it'll be a quick turnaround as they play Kent State on Saturday. That game will be at 1 o'clock. Tyra A.K., really the story in this game for Eastern Michigan. You heard Fred Castro talk about her. She came out and scored a career-high 17 points in this game to go along with 6 rebounds. The play in the paint, really the difference for Eastern Michigan as they were so successful in this contest and get a much-needed win as they up their conference record to 6-9 in this one. Fred Castro obviously feels good about his play inside. You should be when you outscore a team in the paint 46-8, and A.K. leading the charge.
Well, Eke was so good all game long. The ability to finish inside, but to finish off balance as well. But you have to credit Eastern Michigan's offense, and it started with the guards as well, Tom, in the ability to scheme their players open, using that size to their advantage. And you look at some of those numbers, boy, she's been an absolute monster this year. Fred Castro, before we came back on air, he looked at the stat sheet and said, wait a minute, Tyra had 17? It comes from everywhere down low this year.
Because she had 2 at the half. She had 2 in the first half and absolutely turned it on in the second half. Ends up scoring 17 points, as we mentioned. That was a career high. So a fabulous effort by her as we take a look at the team stats. It was interesting because as dominant as Eastern Michigan was in the paint, that wasn't necessarily the story on the glass. And part of that's because Winfield had 11 rebounds for Buffalo. She continues to be the top rebounding guard in the nation and helped keep it close for Buffalo, at least in that aspect of the game.
She did, and look at Buffalo, Tom. You just look at the stats there. Some of those really increased after the last 10 minutes or so. They were able to try to come back in this game. But as you look at Buffalo again, you mentioned 5 straight losses coming in, now 6. They've lost their last 3 by only 9 points combined. So close in these games, just not able to get over the hump.
Buffalo went scoreless in the final minute 42 of this game. Listen, they tried it from the three-point line. They were 13 of 33 from behind the arc. What's on the horizon for these teams? Well, you take a look at the upcoming schedule for Buffalo. They got 1 remaining road game left. They'll play at Bowling Green on Saturday, so they're actually going to stay in Michigan. They'll head down that way tomorrow and play that game on Saturday. As for Eastern Michigan, they'll take on Kent State in their final home game of the season. It'll be senior night. Two seniors, Ozzie Mamadou and Natalia Pineda, will play their final game in the green and white. And that's another team Fred Castro has not had a lot of success against. He's 1-10 in his career against Kent State. So hopefully he can change that number for Eastern Michigan when they play on Saturday at 1 o'clock. All righty, that's going to do it for us. For Alex Jewell and our entire ESPN staff, I'm Tom Helmer saying so long from Ypsilanti, Michigan, where the final score, Eastern Michigan beats Buffalo 61-57. All games airing on ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.